Hello and welcome to the second week of the Reddit Battle Royale League Finals Season 3. We really need to find a way to shorten that title. Anyway, today, in our second week, we are going to be playing pretty much a polar opposite to what we've played in week 1. Week 1 was the no moving single guess. This time we're playing moving multi guess. So I'm surely expecting a couple of 5Ks in the distance mode, and I'm expecting the country mode to go on for about a week. So we're just probably going to be finishing in time for next week's game. Anyway, I'm joined by Pashetli again. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'll just quickly show you again if you've missed it. If you have, you should check it out. But if you don't have the time, these were the results from week 1. Marian won the game and the event. Not too far ahead. Kind of came down to the last game because he had a bit of a weakness in game 5, but did win 3 points ahead of DJ. Then another 3.5 points to Brad, and then a big gap towards Dennis, Trichter, Pisanico. And we'll see if that gap narrows down a bit this time around, or if we see a complete shuffle. Maybe it's a completely different game mode, so maybe we'll see someone else at the top. Unfortunately, Artificial, who came in 9th and last in week 1, will not be able to make it today, and Pisanico will try to get there as soon as possible, but might not be here for the first game or two, so we'll have to see once or when he gets ready. Any thoughts about today in particular, Pastetli?
Yeah, just as you said, we'll probably get some other 5Ks. I mean, we saw one last week in Laos with no moving, so moving will be even easier, I think. Yeah, Marian is still the favorite, of course, and the rest is pretty even skilled. I think mostly everything can happen, and I'm excited to get it started.
Yeah, so we won't leave you waiting any longer, and let's get into the games. All right, so now let's get into the games. It is.
We have an additional Lunacy Echo here right now.
Hello.
We couldn't make it for the intro, but hello.
Yeah,
But I'm here now.
I think I did want to mention that you were going to be here, and then I kind of forgot. But yep, he's here. And we've got
Seems like Italy.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. And well, with 3 possible guesses and you can move around, I think people are going to be a lot less hesitant. There's the confirmation for Italy if you didn't have anything yet. But people are going to be a lot less hesitant than last week. And well, already everyone's in anyway. I don't know, just Australia.
Yeah, interesting. Looks like everyone but one person got that within the first few seconds. But also, given that this first one, you don't really need to go super fast. But now, this is when it starts getting important.
It's a bit more foresty.
Yeah. And by the way, Dennis is missing the first game since he kind of forgot about it once again. But he'll join after the game after this.
Yeah, this was France, and Jake actually got the first guess wrong, and then got it right, and Brad just out of that one, not guessing in time.
Yeah, unfortunate. But it was a pretty difficult round there. It like both of these rounds so far have been mostly landscape. It looks like, well, I guess Kennedy got the bollards, but
yeah, I feel like the Canadian one was a bit more obvious than the French one, but Kodiak out of that one, bit washed out.
Seems European for sure.
No, not Spanish. Okay.
Romania, maybe?
Yeah, it could be Romania.
Ooh, a lot of. My first instinct was Italy as well, and I feel validated because a lot of people went there, and unfortunately, we're incorrect.
Slovenia.
It's definitely Romania.
Spain and Portugal.
Oh no, Romania. It's just a first top level domain, not first level domain.
Yeah, there was a sign
just like
very,
that, it's the
very
final
close.
3.
Yep, down to the final 3. That's what happens when you only have 6 players. Happens very quickly.
Wow, is this Australia? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I've got the Australian bollards in the right style of oh yeah, and the road signs. All the
that also helps, yeah.
An interesting location though. Pretty tropical.
Yeah, it was almost like before I saw much else, I was kind of thinking like it would be US or something like that, just because of the signs and stuff like that. But obviously these players are better than me at stuff like this.
Kodak's not gonna do well today since he came home 10 minutes ago. He just wrote, and he's so freaking tired, to quote him. Yeah.
Well, luckily for Kodiak, though, it does look like he may still score some points regardless because of a few absences.
Well, yeah, but if he wants to win this competition, these points he's gaining with the absences will not help him that much.
True, but he's already not had the best first week. So I think if he wants to win the competition, he's already not in a particularly great place anyway.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Is Croatia, Serbia? Yeah.
No, Serbia.
Jake getting that
Ooh,
one
and
wrong.
Jake is out. Unfortunate.
Yeah.
So, given that this is now a moving game, do you think that changes who you'd expect to sort of come out on top a bit?
I feel like if
Yeah, well,
Go on.
Marian will Marian will win anyway, but
yep, you were right.
but the rest is pretty open, I think.
That was actually a really interesting location. Like Canada didn't really enter my mind, though I don't think anything really did. It looked a bit odd, but yeah, Marian winning
I
that
wasn't
one.
thinking. Yeah, I wasn't thinking Canada until we saw the Canadian road sign. But I guess that's one of the benefits of being able to move slightly, even though moving matters a bit less for countries than distance, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And to go back to your previous question, I do think it might change who we see coming out a bit better in terms of like, moving might be a bit more advantageous to people who need a little bit more information. Like I imagine Jake, as we just saw getting third in the first game, might do a little bit better if he has the ability to at least move like a few pictures ahead. Just move a little bit, get a few more points of information to just stick it out there a bit more. And I think like we'll see the bigger differences though, obviously in the distance game mode.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Pustetli has sent us right into game number 2. Dennis here now?
Yeah, he is.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so 7 players now. And
Competition got tougher. This is Turkey? No.
this is Croatia.
Croatia, yeah, with a Zagreb sign.
Yes, typically in Croatia.
Yeah, it takes a real knowledge of Geoguessr meta to get that, but
Yeah, absolutely.
Geography knowledge is, yeah.
Did someone go Bosnia for like a joke that I didn't get? All right, now
No, this is Switzerland.
Getting a bit more serious now.
I think it's in the French-speaking part, just based on my gut feeling. No, it isn't, actually.
They don't have cows in the French-speaking part?
No.
They do. They
And
make great cheese in the French-speaking part. For example, the Gruyere, not sure if you know it, but it's famous internationally.
The jokes don't work as well if Pustetli sees something different.
Well, yeah.
Oh, I see.
That's another thing, yeah. I'm gonna look forward to the video where I can see what you just have seen.
A cow.
This should be
Czechia or Slovakia? I'm
Czechia.
never sure.
Czechia, I think, with the. No, you're right. Actually,
Slovakia.
It's hard to be sure. Is what I meant.
Is that? No, it has to be like a different bridge, right? No, it is.
Is this the same bridge as the last?
It's the same
bridge as last week. Just a couple of meters from the.
We were right
now
down
the distance.
But it's it's country, so it doesn't matter anyway.
We're gonna be in the northern end in distance.
Well, yeah, next week.
But everyone's forgotten again.
Yeah, I'm the only one to write in chat, which is kind of sad. Then. Yeah.
All of them are focusing. But we just saw Jake and DJ drop out.
The third and the second of last round.
Yep. Should be Norway.
Norway.
Yep. Shouldn't be a problem for any of them.
I see a Tesla. That's a Norwegian thing, right?
Is it?
Yeah, it is. They have tons of electric cars there.
Right. Not sure
I think
whether
it's
one car is going to be enough evidence for that, but sure.
I think it's like you pay less taxes or something if you have an electric car.
Could very well be.
Or something like that.
Oh,
Something like, oh, Marianne.
Marianne's dropped.
Whoa. Interesting.
The tables have turned or something like that. Oh, what language is this? This is Hungary?
I could tell
No,
you
no,
if I
no.
could see it.
Czechoslovakian bollard. I think it's
Slovakia.
Yeah, it's Slovakia. Yeah.
Yep.
Slovakia. Yeah.
Lack of arrows.
Yep. Is that, I noticed
Oh,
that
and there
recently.
goes
Is that-
Dennis, actually.
Oh, yeah. Is that always the case? Like, does Czechia always have the arrows? Because I wasn't sure. Like, I know Czechia does have the arrows, but I didn't know if they always had them on every sign, or if it was just, some signs have them.
I could tell you if I had seen the arrows.
On the signs that are like, hey, the city is over there.
Oh, yeah. They have
Sweet.
different signs. That's all I know.
Good flag. Yeah, I also think that Czechia and Slovakia tend to have different fonts on their like the blue road signs as
Oh,
well.
Denmark.
Like the Slovakian
Yeah.
font is a lot more.
Not Sweden.
Yeah, they do.
Oh,
And Kodiak is the one to drop out this round.
Yep. So we're just left with Brad and Trichter. It feels like to me Brad is, I don't know if it's his first final. Well, it's over now. It didn't last for very long.
wow.
All right, interesting. I was expecting moving country games to last way longer than no moving, but apparently that's not true.
I was gonna say
Well-
the same thing actually. Maybe like if you have more information, you're more reticent to place in a guess immediately.
Maybe it's
Yeah.
also that you
Possible.
just feel like because you're allowed to move, you just want to move, so you're less focused on just taking in your surroundings and formulating like an opinion on which country it could be. And you kind of just your brain's full on in like find clue.
Yeah. Well, yeah. 15 minutes 10 minutes since we started the event and already 2 rounds passed.
Mm-hmm. Let's take a quick look at the standings. Maybe give Pisanico a bit more of a chance to eventually find his way in. And currently looks like everything's super close, except for Dennis, who obviously didn't play the first game. But Marian down to Jake, just 3 points apart. Nothing too consistent in those first 2 games.
Yeah. It's very open, much more open than last week. I think it makes sense since single guess is. Oh, I got the thing wrong on the top. I just noticed. But single guess is generally more of a skilled. You need to have more skill than in multi-guess moving. Everybody plays multi-guess moving all the time and is kind of familiar with it. And single guess, no moving is a bit of a niche thing in Battle Royale. So it makes sense that some players are better than it than others.
Though I wouldn't even necessarily say that you need to have more skill for the single guess rather than the multi guess, because after a certain point, like you're probably still gonna be in a situation where you have to lock in with your first guess anyway, and if you're wrong, you lose. So it doesn't it doesn't end up being too much different. It's just the first round is a bit more chill because it really doesn't matter too much. You're gonna figure it out most of the time anyway.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any benefit to treating moving single guess like it would be a no move, like a moving multi guess, like it would be a no moving single guess?
I think there might be actually. It depends a bit. It probably wouldn't hurt you to just take a look around for like 2 or 3 seconds at the start and determine for yourself if you can figure this out without moving. Because I feel like 15 seconds, I think, is usually the yellow bar, and that's really not much time to find information anyway. So unless you see like a great sign right in front of you somewhere where it's just out of reach and you'd need to move like 1 or 2 steps, I think it could be beneficial if you treated it as if it was a single guess. Obviously, we're going to see a much different story with the multi-guess later on.
You mean distance? Or
Yes, yeah, I do.
starting in 10.
Yep. Heading back into this.
Okay, yep. I think you can start.
All right.
So without Peter and Nico, but he said he was gonna miss out the first 2 to 3 rounds. So yeah, maybe we'll see him in distance. We'll see.
Maybe he also speculated that the country games would last a bit longer.
This is chilling. Pretty
Yeah,
easy, pretty straightforward.
I think DJ is just
yeah,
either he's
classic
trolling or he's
Paraguay.
very, very confident that he can get it in one.
Yeah.
All right.
Something like that.
Just make this end a little bit quicker. Don't need to sit here waiting for no one.
Huh. This is an
Oh,
interesting
there's a Swiss flag.
weirdo. Oh no. you don't dare to say that. No, just kidding.
It looks
Is this
South African to no.
Eswatini
Okay.
or what?
Yeah,
Yeah, it
apparently.
was.
Ooh, and Brad is out, unfortunately, on the Eswatini round.
A couple of them got the first guess wrong, but Brad just the slowest to get there in the end, as this is just going to be Norway again.
That's definitely one strategy I try when it's multi-guess battle royale countries, where if I'm switching between, I have to choose between two countries. I'll click one, but like have my hand hovering over the other one, so if I'm wrong, like can get it as fast as possible.
Definitely, it's also an interesting thing to do if you're like, depending on the skill level of your opponents, choosing like if you're at a 50-50, which country you guess first. Against like players that are this good, it probably doesn't work quite as well because they're just going to guess the right country. But if you're against less good players and you see Cyrillic, for example, and you're like not sure, is it Russia, is it Ukraine, and there's still like 4 or 5 other players, just guess Russia first because that's what the others are going to do. And if it's wrong, then you can still be quicker than them at guessing Ukraine.
Oh yeah, that's an interesting strat. One other thing. No, I forgot what I was gonna say, but anyway.
License plate, Ireland. Yeah. No, UK. It just looked white for a second there.
Yeah, sometimes with Gen 4, with the sun and the brightness, it's hard to differentiate.
Yeah.
Well.
So we've had 4 pretty reasonably easy rounds where everyone's been able to get the right country. This one should also be similarly. Isn't that a South Africa sign?
Could be, yeah.
Oh yeah, N4. Yeah, I was confused a bit for a second. They do actually have similar signs, I think, in Belgium, but yeah, these specifically ones are obviously South Africa because they're driving on the other side of the road, and it doesn't look anything like Belgium.
Yeah, well, that was what I was gonna say. Argentina.
Oh no, that doesn't say Uruguay. It says Ubajai.
Would be Gen 4 anyway in Uruguay.
What have we got here? Still everyone, no problems there.
Mexico.
Could be.
Nah, I'm not sure. Spanish, at least. Spanish speaking.
Oh, a lot of
wrong. A lot of incorrect guesses. Argentina, Mexico, and South Africa. Jake guessing Thailand. Interesting.
Is it Brazil then?
Yeah, it is.
Not Spanish speaking after all.
Add information you gave us there.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
sorry.
Kodiak dropping out there.
Canada, I guess.
Could be. Never really know. Canada, US.
That was US.
Yep. Oh, this could be fun.
Baltics.
Baltic roulette time.
Yeah.
I wanna say
nothing because I'm gonna be wrong anyway.
I wanna say Estonia.
Yep. That was
nice.
And Trichter.
Yep. Dropped out there.
Unfortunate. That actually is a situation where I think being able to move would have helped because you could see the little blue sign was I think perpendicular to the road is what happens in Estonia. Or parallel,
It
one of
could
the two.
be. I don't know. Island.
I just saw a sign with the word Japan on it.
You probably wouldn't have if you were in Japan.
Well, yeah.
The moving vehicle turnout. Back to more. Is it US or is it Canada?
US, I'm pretty sure. Oregon Dunes, yeah.
Yep. Right this time.
Yeah, I'm always more reluctant to guess when it's my home country, the US, because if I'm wrong, it's worse.
I feel like
I don't have that problem with Switzerland.
I feel like it's always kind of a thing of as well of like if it was my home country, I should know for sure, right? So if I'm unsure, what does that mean?
Well, I have
Just means you
car
don't get out
meta.
much.
Bangladesh.
I have car meta for Switzerland, so it's not
Well, that is
that,
if you can actually
hard.
tell.
Yeah, with some practice you can.
Oh, Jake is out on Bangladesh?
So this, I can't imagine it was this round.
Might have been a previous one, yeah.
I think
I mean,
it was.
I didn't see specifically.
Gaborone Electrics.
Yeah, it is a pretty typical Botswana.
Yeah, anyway.
The Bangladesh
Yeah, I
round just
mean-
felt too simple for Jake to drop out, but I don't know what he saw or didn't see.
Yeah, but then again, like I think I only saw the Bengali script after you started moving, so maybe there's a, if people are trying to play it in moving.
True. But I feel like there were other things as well. Like it
Ooh,
just
Spain.
yeah, it looked relatively typical at the
Yeah.
typical cars, typical landscape. Is that Andorra?
Yeah, it is. Would be surprised if it was anything else, but should be.
It's
Oh
like
no!
he's
I'm
surprised.
surprised it is anything else. And it is
the same
Dennis.
thing happened in Chicago Geoguessr stream earlier today.
Really? Oh, did he
Yeah,
guess? Did he play his like what was it? Anniversary or
I
special?
think he was doing more of the country hunting thing, but there was
Oh,
one
yeah.
round where it took the chat like 10 minutes to figure out if it was Andorra or France or Spain, and then it turned out it was Austria.
That wouldn't have happened if I was there.
You sure?
No. Should be UK.
This is
Or is it-
France.
Is it France? Why is there a yellow
France.
license plate? Damn tourists.
Yeah, maybe it's an old license plate because they used I think yellow license plates before the EU or even earlier. But they once used yellow license plates, so it's not that weird to see one in France.
Not just the US? Yeah, okay. No problems for DJ and Marian.
I'm also really
No
annoyed every
surprise.
time I see a license plate in France with like blue strips on both sides, because I feel like
Mhm.
that's something that happens a reasonable amount, and I never remember it.
Yeah, this is a new thing. They adopted it not that far back. Yeah, before that they had just blue on one side, and then before that they had yellow. They're switching them quite often in the last like 30 years.
Is Bangladesh
Yeah, that
again?
makes sense. Just makes it hard for you guys. Yeah. It
It
is
is, yeah.
interesting that this round is lasting a lot longer than the previous two, which is more so as expected.
Yeah, and I noticed that as well. I think like 2 rounds back, and we're finally getting what I wanted or didn't want. This is interesting.
Tunisia with the follow car.
Yeah, it's just a very.
Oh no! It's Kenya.
No,
it's Kenya.
It's
With
Kenya.
the
I was about
snorkel.
to say it doesn't look like Tunisia.
I just saw this follow car in the first image, and I didn't really think about it. Now Switzerland again.
You said that before the timer was even down.
Yeah, I can recognize low cam pretty early.
Okay.
Just a white blur, for instance, is much wider than in other countries.
Is that going to be Canada?
Yeah,
Looks very
maybe.
Canadian.
Or
like Newfoundland or
even this French colony in close to Canada. What's it called again?
Saint Pierre and Miquelon. There's no way they have
Yeah.
that in country battle, do they?
Well, we're playing
No,
AI
we
Gen,
play another map.
so it could
Oh, okay, I
another
see.
map.
potentially be. Yeah. I just don't know if it would count as a separate country or if it would
It
count
would
as part
count
of
as
Canada
France.
or France. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Does Svalbard count as a different country in like Battle Royale?
What's that?
Yes, it does.
Svalbard, like the Norwegian island super
Ooh.
far north.
Oh
Ooh,
yeah, it
sweet.
does. That does count as a separate country. Just with
Oh.
the Norwegian flag, funnily enough, and you can then troll others with guessing Svalbard.
Yeah. That's what I was wondering about, like classic world maps. But yeah, Marion takes the win here.
And you definitely can't troll anyone here. It's not gonna
Yeah.
work.
You're gonna troll yourself.
All right. So with Marion winning that, he does get quite a bit of a lead, especially compared to everyone else. After this first game mode of today, he does have 23 points, so he's already got a 4-point lead over DJ. Same top two as we've had last week. And then it's still fairly close from DJ, Trichter, Brad, Jake, and Kodiak, only separated by 3 points. And Dennis made up a bit of ground. He's only 3 points behind anymore after sitting out the first game. So if he continues this, he might be able to get another position or two back to get into the upper half. Any thoughts about this first game mode today?
Hold on, I just need to check with chat something.
Yeah, I mean, like now that the country battle royale games are over, it's time to start seeing, who's better at pinpointing based on like more information. So, I feel like the different like modes of playing GeoGuessr. I mean, this is sort of an obvious observation, but the different modes of playing GeoGuessr differ mostly in the amount of information that you have access to, and therefore the amount of information that you need to sort of synthesize in your mind and like um essentially like be able to figure out, where exactly you are. I mean, like that's just the basic theory of GeoGuessr, but with distance, with the moving distance game, like it's just a very, very different skill set, I think. And so I feel like given that this is maybe the most different, moving country, moving distance are maybe like the most different of all the possible moving modes. I wouldn't be surprised to see the table shake up quite a bit in the distance games.
Yeah, and I do think distance gets a lot of undeserved hatred in the game modes. It is actually, I can understand it for the competitive season for the one reason that it gives you by far the most advantage if you're cheating. So if you're just, I guess, dependent on not encountering any cheaters in any of your games, because for I mean, I guess in country the cheater's going to get the country right every time, so you can't win either. But at least you can make sure that you stay with them for a long enough time. Maybe they'll get bored. But in distance,
good point.
if they, I'm just more so thinking about the standard cheaters in terms of like the people who Google stuff that they find. Those don't really have that much of an advantage in country because the game's so much shorter. Usually you have the lock-in period once you get down to like 2 or 3 people. Whereas in distance, you always have the full minute, so you have a lot more time to find something you can cheat with, and that's a bit annoying. But we shouldn't have that in here with these. I'm gonna call them professional GeoGuessr players now, and I feel like a lot of people are always saying like it's so random, but I feel like that's only true for, I don't know, maybe if we're talking like we've got I think 80 countries or so in GeoGuessr. I think it's maybe true for like 10 or so, where it is actually sort of random whether you just get close enough or not. But I think in most of the other countries, you can actually get closer than your opponent just purely based on skill.
Yeah, and I definitely agree there. And like what I do also like about distance is that it tests what I like about distance specifically in this competition too is that it specifically tests a skill set that is something that doesn't necessarily get you far in things like no moving or in country battle royale, and that's a better grasp of like sort of like the finer details, because I found that people who sort of gravitate more towards like really quick like no moving or NMPZ games are those that have less experience pinpointing or like developing the instinct to look for like the right shape of roads or like various details or that kind of thing.
Call it a lack of
So
patience. No, but I definitely agree with you. It's not I guess it's not always something of a lack of skill in that sense, but just maybe a personal preference of what kind of gameplay you would personally rather have. And it is certainly a very different gameplay than, the no moving or even NMPZ gameplay. And as you said, it has a very different skill set for it as well. So it wouldn't be surprising if we see a very different outcome here as well. And we have seen it both ways in stuff in some of the regular tournaments that get hosted, where players who excel in some of the no moving games do not necessarily terrible, but do a lot worse in moving games. And we've also seen not the opposite, but we've seen them do just as well in the moving games as well. It kind of always depends a bit on, I think, as well, just with what you play more, how you started out. Maybe it's just a case of you've come into Geoguessr, you've just seen a streamer do like the Battle Royale stuff, and you just want to play that, and you don't want to get into the distance type of gameplay.
Yeah, like no moving and NPC are definitely more like streamer or like YouTube friendly because the games are a lot shorter and it's a lot easier to watch than, spending 3 minutes waiting for someone to like barrel down a road in Argentina for, and not find anything. That's a lot more boring to watch. But it's yeah, sorry, I wasn't trying to say that like people who excel in no moving or NPC don't have any skill in the other thing. It's just that like, it's about which skills you try to hone. And, moving multi-guess distance is going to test out a few different skills, I think.
And you're saying this to the guy who once spent, I think it was about 53 minutes 5K'ing around in Indonesia.
Ooh, congratulations.
That was pain. Anyway, I think Pisanico is still not here. So I think, Pashtetli just said we're going to talk a few more minutes, so let's talk a few more minutes. Pashtetli, you brought us into this situation. Any talking points?
Yeah, well, not specifically. Actually, I haven't thought of anything. But yeah, it's I don't know.
We
Do
can
you
just
prefer no moving or distant or moving? Or
Well, I had so when I started, I almost played only no moving and stuff, and watched streamers and Chatguessr and stuff. Then after I joined Reddit League, that got much neglected. Not sure if this is the right word, but I think so. And I started playing moving much more, and now I think I'm better at moving since I don't play no moving games that much anymore. But I think I'm still not that bad with meta and stuff. So yeah, it's if I had just played some country streak stuff for a couple of weeks and get used to it again, I'll be good. I think I could get good at it again, but right now I'm not so much. And you?
yeah, that's a really interesting story because I think it's like sort of the opposite of how I got into Geoguessr, which is like very much interested in moving games. Like to this day, like the first thing I do when I drop into a new round is like try to get my bearings and figure out the road angle so that I can like store it away and pinpoint later, even if it is a non-moving game. That's just like instinct because because like I just played moving rounds for so long when I first started playing the game. Only recently have I sort of gotten into trying to get better at no moving and learning meta and that kind of thing. But yeah, so like I definitely empathize more, or I definitely empathize with people who have a hard time with like landscape guessing or like all the like super advanced meta stuff. And that's also why I think if I were playing this tournament, moving multi-guess distance would absolutely be my favorite mode to play. But that's also why I'm not in this tournament.
Yep, same. I feel like playing the AI generated world map makes moving multi-guess distance here a lot more nice generally than in the regular competitive season, because I think like apart from the cheater thing, that's like my second complaint, is that it does gravitate a lot towards capitals in a lot of countries. And that may just be a personal thing, but I like to just start off with a guess that's somewhere that's not the capital, and then work myself, kind of like you start off in one specific corner of the country, because then if you're, down the order, then you're probably more likely to be on the other side of the country, probably closer to the capital. But it does kind of take a guess away from you. And, well, if it is just the capital, you're, at the end of the day, probably comes down to a bit of luck again, because where you're just going to be using a lot of time making your guesses. And that's also a thing that I tend to do in multi-guess distances. If we come down to like the final round or something like that, where it's just me and someone else, then I like to, well, first of all, you got to see what kind of country it is, what kind of location it is. But if it's something where I think like it might be pinpointable, then I just like to not take my time, but just look around, see if I can pinpoint it, and then only use one guess rather than just go in like, oh, let me make my first guess here and then think about where I'm going to make my second guess without actually looking at the round at all. And I feel like that's where a lot of players who say this kind of stuff like distance is so random and it's just luck are going wrong, in that they are just too focused on, okay, it's this country, then I'm just going to start about making guesses rather than actually looking at where in the country it could potentially be.
Yeah,
that,
I
that
definitely
makes
agree with
sense.
that. Yeah, I've also definitely had moments before when playing distance battle royale where I assume a round is pinpointable and then get really frustrated when it ends up being like not.
Yeah.
And I've just lost a bunch of time.
True. You do kind of you could move yourself into a corner with that when you realize that you now don't have actual time to make free guesses anymore. But I
Yeah.
feel like we've talked enough and we can
Yeah, the
move on.
player's getting impatient. You still need to join the game though.
Yeah, I am aware.
Good. And then we'll start.
All right. We do have, as always with these distance games, a minute to keep talking about random stuff because the first round doesn't matter. And Luxembourg, that would have been a fun first round. That's definitely pinpointable. Let me see if I can.
Oh, and it's a
Oh,
repeat
yeah.
for me.
Yeah, it's all
At least.
blurry. Brilliant. 141 9 kilometers to Echternach.
Herborn.
Load.
Oh, Gen 4.
Thank you.
Wasserbillig. Nice name, Wasserbillig.
I don't know where the 141 actually is, and all of this is blurry, so probably nicer coverage.
I think it's in the southern part at least. What did you say? 141?
141.
I just found that it's in the east, very very eastern part of the country.
Is this what that co-op Geoguessr is?
Yes, we're here.
More or less.
I think we're here. Actually, we might not be quite there. No, I don't think we are.
Oh, and Kodak guessing in Kodak.
Yep.
Did anyone get it exactly?
Tristan Jake got one
further down the road, but yeah.
Yeah, further down the road. There, yeah. All right, now it actually gets interesting.
Montpach.
Well, this might be the kind of round where you probably... you might actually get to some signs if you move a bit.
Yeah, when I'm on a big road like this, I always assume I'm going to see a sign eventually, which is not always the right assumption, but...
I mean, it's Turkey, so you'll... the signs are not bad in Turkey in general.
Yeah, as long as you can find one.
Ildir.
I just found one. Ildir Küçük... No, I'm not even gonna pronounce that. Izmir Karaburun. I see I sent to Karaburun and Izmir, and the bus, which with his
signs of
names on
Izmir
it.
would help. I imagine most people would recognize that.
I really do think that Turkey is one of the countries that's more difficult to get good at, just because there's so many different like mid-sized cities you'd have to learn. Okay.
Oh, and it's tennis.
Yep, just a bit too far away.
Yeah, Karaburun is actually pretty visible on the map, as well as Küçük whatever.
Ooh.
It's some American ski resort in the summer.
I think that might be .ca, but I can't quite tell. A bit blurry.
think it is Canada. I think we've got the Canadian bollards, and I can never remember which color scheme is which. But
that just says .com, I think. Starting from $390,000, you can buy a house here. I'm not sure you can buy a house for $390,000 in this area. That seems a bit on the cheap side. Or maybe one of these.
Yeah,
They look small enough.
yeah, and with
Just
Canadian
like
discount
This
dollars
little
too.
part here.
it's been this coverage is not that new, so
Yeah.
the prices
Interesting,
have gone up probably.
Interesting in that, like, even though everyone does have 3 guesses, a lot more than previously, a lot of people are still waiting till the very end to even submit their first guess. Oh, we were in
Ooh, Brad
BC.
managed to pinpoint it. In the
Big
big
white
white
ski resort.
ski resort.
Yeah, and poor Jake guessing in where, in Montana?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Dead end straight away. Great. Somewhere in the Balkans. Probably, I want to say, I don't know, Croatia or something
Croatia,
like that.
maybe? Yeah.
Yeah, I would say too. Croatia.
Yeah, and with the coastline
Coastal.
there, that's
Yeah.
definitely something you could work with.
Maybe
This-
Well, it was
pinpointable
there.
even.
This does not look like a place where you'll find signs quickly.
No, it
And even
doesn't.
if you did, they're
It's even an
probably-
island.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah, I believe it was an
Potentially.
island. Yeah, especially with the cover just randomly stopping there.
Yeah. Also, it's not that much trees, more shrubbery thing.
Yeah, and there also aren't that many islands out. You look to the west,
Yeah,
which implies we are already on an island to the
could
west.
be. Yeah,
True.
we'll see in
true.
just a second.
It
And
was
yeah, we
sorta.
were.
Nobody on the right island, but unfortunately Trickter there, guessing a little too far north.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice area there. Never been there, but I've got some friends who go there almost every summer. Split area.
Mm. I'm sure this one is pinpointable. We just got to go the right way and find some signs that I didn't. We're entering the town
that
of
city sign?
Miske in Hungary.
Yeah.
Always a bit of a gamble. Do you go out of the city or into the city?
It's
Yeah,
interesting because, like, whenever I'm in like a small town like this, I tend to try to go outside of the city first to see if there's an immediate like road sign pointing elsewhere, because that's often the case. But if there
Mhm.
isn't within the first like 20 or 30 seconds, then I'll try to go back and find the city center where there are often also signs.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you also can then try, if it is a very small town, you can try exiting the town in the other direction, see if there's any signs there, if there wasn't in the city center.
Yeah, true. It seemed like that town is a bit larger, large enough that you wouldn't be able to get out of it in the time needed. But
There you go.
Oh, and
Whoa,
somebody managed to
okay.
pinpoint it.
Kodiak finding the city,
It did show
and
up
it looks like Brad.
yeah, Brad dropping out. It did show up at like a halfway reasonable zoom level.
Oh, and now we have some.
Oh, this is
America.
pinpointable.
Yep,
What is it? American Samoa, I think.
Should be.
think so.
I'm always bad with these Oceania cars.
I don't think there are, like, it's definitely not Guam or NMI, and I don't think there are any more. Like, it's also not like Pitcairn, so I feel like that only leaves American Samoa.
I think we might be on the, I forget what it's called, but like the island to the very, like the easternmost island of American Samoa.
It could be.
I think we're on the western end of the easternmost island of American Samoa.
Yeah, I would say too. They have another car on the other
Ta'u.
island. I know that much.
Siufaga and Luma in those respective
This
directions.
this sounds
Oh,
like
Ta'u might be the island, yeah.
this sounds like American Samoan
it definitely is.
language.
Absolutely.
And Kodiak looks like he'll drop out after that
Oh,
5K.
Oh, wow.
And Marian getting like the 1 meter or even 0 meter plonk.
Yeah, that might be. It might be 0, might be 1. It's very close.
Very impressive. Yeah, using the houses to Marion's advantage, I think.
This is
San Marino.
Yep. Which
But
city?
close to
What
the
makes-
border, I think.
How can you tell it's San Marino so
Porto
quickly? Because
Maggiore.
I always mess this up.
First of all, you can
firstly,
see San
Gen
Marino
2.
City up there, but I didn't look at that actually. Yeah, as Prashidli said, it's the camera quality, which stands out a bit. I don't know if like Italy surely has Gen 2 in other areas as well, but it's a very mountainous area that does have still like very, very urban in the mountains, which I feel like is a relatively rare thing otherwise in Italy. Usually, if you're in the mountains, you wouldn't have such a kind of an urban city feeling to those towns.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I'm sure this is pinpointable too.
Yeah, absolutely. Borgo Maggiore is this city/town, and depends on who and it's Marian who will win. DJ made his last guess. Oh, DJ couldn't quite pinpoint it. Marian, again, getting probably, if on a world map, probably a 5k for DJ 2, although it's close. Just about not managing it there.
Yeah, so very well done to Marian, who was able to get like within 10 meters, I assume, of both of the last pinpoints.
Yep. Oh, and click on play again. All right, so one quick look at the rankings again before you get into the next round. Marian's just widened his lead, but DJ has come out as a clear favorite for second place again, so it looks like we're just going to be repeating last week's results. And last week it was Brad in a comfortable third, and then Dennis Trichter. And this week it's Trichter, Brad, and Kodak currently all tied for third place.
My kingdom for a leaderboard shakeup. I guess it won't happen.
Nope, probably not within the top 2, but we'll see if someone else can be third ahead of Brad. And
yeah, it's all very close around there.
Yeah, Dennis, unfortunately,
yeah, three players on 23 points.
Yeah, Dennis, unfortunately, after a bit of a comeback in the country game mode, losing out a lot of points again, is now 5 points behind Jake in last place currently. I think like everyone's back in. Season Nico still not here.
Yeah, he just wrote he's not gonna make it today.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Unfortunate.
Yep.
All right then.
We did end up being quite a bit quicker than last week, surprisingly.
Oh, yeah.
We were still going to be here for like 30 minutes, but it was quicker than I expected, and we're straight away back in Laos. I actually recently read up on that, and apparently it is Laos. And it's just foreigners trying to make people think it's pronounced Lao.
Interesting, because I think Lao is the name of the language and maybe
Yes.
also the demonym, but yeah.
But the country itself is Laos.
Interesting. Also,
What city would you think this is?
The obligatory Soviet flag is.
Yeah, the communist.
You have the bars on the car, so I want to say Savannah Kit.
Interesting, yeah. And it's not mountainous enough to be Luang Prong or Bangviang.
Isn't that a Paksa thing too?
I'll be contrarian and say it's Paksa.
Yeah, all the cities apart from Vientiane have bars.
Yeah. I
just feel like it looks a bit too big to be Paksa.
It was Savannah Kit.
Yep.
Oh, and
Jake getting very close there.
With the 5k, yeah.
Nice. I was kind of wondering, like, what were these? And then I remembered, yeah, it's first round, doesn't matter. So.
North Korea, I guess, right there.
Classic communist influence.
Yeah. That sign won't give me and load. Or
I just noticed Marian gets on the embassy of Egypt in Pyongyang. I didn't know they had they had embassies. I didn't think they were doing that.
That might have just been broken coverage and like, this feels recognizable.
Yeah, it is.
Could be Chile.
I'm not entirely sure where it is, but I do recognize the name of it at least.
Yeah, it says enjoy the Patagonia culture, thankfully in English.
Hmm. I mean, if it just said something like Patagonia, I don't think you need the other words.
Yeah, true. But it does inform us that we can ignore any of the words that aren't Patagonia.
True.
Yeah. Then, if it was Spain, there is always the danger. You will search for a word.
Yeah.
That is actually not a
story
place, just a place-sounding name.
Ooh, very word.
Jake and tricked. Wow. Yeah. I guess that Calamity is sort of where luck comes in, and that like Jake and Trickter both guessed
Mm.
like in the same spot, and it was just a bit of bad luck that Jake
Yeah.
went a bit further
I
south.
recently had in a competitive weekend, this weekend, I lost a battle royale distance by like 160 meters, and I think we were both like 15 kilometers apart in like different places or something like that. So I guess to that extent there is a bit of luck. We're in Brazil now.
No, that's what DJ is always complaining
Yeah.
about.
45
45 puts
potentially,
us
which
in
is
what?
Santa
Santa
Catarina.
Catarina?
Yep.
Yeah.
If that was an area
Oh.
code, which I think it might be, but I'm not 100%.
And then the
sure.
landscape matches.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely is an area code.
I
So-
still need to learn these area codes for Brazil.
Yeah, very
Still
helpful.
didn't manage to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know.
Paraná. Yeah. Yeah. Brazil is like this is old news for a lot of people, but like is maybe one of the most helpful countries to learn area codes for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
agree.
It loads actually. Yeah.
Oh, and
man.
Dennis.
DJ not seeing the Paraná, I guess.
Yeah. The 40 area codes are both Paraná and Santa Catarina, so I sometimes get a bit confused with those. But yes, we were in Toledo. Yeah, it did say on that sign. Ooh, that might be fun. Not for the players.
Is this Russia?
That
With
was
the
my-
black car?
That
Surely.
was my first thought as well. Yeah. I was
And the
thinking it
strikeless
might be Finland, but probably Russia. Yeah. I also doubt we're gonna find anything. I feel like I just want to stop moving to at least look at what we're seeing. But it's not like we're seeing
Or
a lot.
world moment.
Any biology experts here? I think those are birch trees, so I don't think we need biology experts.
Yeah.
Yeah, Russia, not
Yeah,
too far
makes
away
sense.
from Finland. Did anyone?
Makes sense up there.
Definitely pretty far north. I think what Kodiak, is too
Kodiak
far
went to
south. Is
Latvia.
that the Latvia? Interesting.
Ooh, okay,
Ultimately, like understandable too. I think, but yeah,
also deservedly out.
northern Russia.
Yeah, I mean that we have Meta,
Oh,
yeah, the
no.
black car.
Yeah, this feels like New
no.
Zealand.
Yep, it is.
I would say South Island
When I
with the high mountains.
when I said earlier about there's like 10 countries that are just luck to me, New Zealand is one of those.
Yeah. Sometimes I think I have figured it out which is which, but then there are always some rounds that upset my my gut feeling.
Gen 1.
Interesting. I actually would disagree. Maybe just from my personal experience, I feel like New Zealand cities are often somewhat learnable, and the signage is not bad when you can find it.
This is not a city.
And also like, yeah, this is true. Like this round is tough. But also like there's often a lot of like really distinct like and you know
It was South Island.
Yeah, I feel like my main gripe is just with this whole area that's around Christchurch. It kind of all looks so similar to me. There's a lot of this like almost grid system, like where you know those roads where you're just next to a hedge for like 2 kilometers.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then there's an intersection with
That
4
is
other
annoying.
roads that are also next to a hedge for 5 kilometers. And there's no change and no signs. Oh,
Europe for a change.
Rayleigh Walk. Are we near
This
Rayleigh?
is the UK.
Does the UK have a city called Rayleigh? Probably.
Wouldn't be
UK probably has a
surprised.
city for every possible.
Where
name.
else would the Americans take the name from?
Exactly.
Well, realistically, the US have place names from almost everywhere, so
Yeah, and it's not just us. Ever been to London, Ontario?
True, true.
I just watched CG's like naming US cities video of Illinois. It's crazy how much
absolutely
cities and
insane.
suburbs he knows of Illinois
Mm.
of Chicago, and there were like 3 or 4 Swiss places in there.
That is
Amble
way
rice.
further. That's way further south than I would have expected.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's very.
Southampton.
I mean, it is about as south as you can get. So, if you expect it anywhere
It
in the
wasn't
middle of
Raleigh.
the country, I'm not surprised. Yeah, it was just
It wasn't really though.
the street is called Rayleigh. Usually, if the street is named
Uh-huh.
after a city, you're not in that city.
Yeah, maybe you're close to it though.
Sometimes it
I
could
also
be.
feel like that is a lesson that every Geoguessr player has learned at some point in their
Yeah.
lives.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Slovenia, Slovakia.
No Poland with the
Poland?
bollard.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've completely forgotten all of my Polish area codes after that 1 week of recording.
76 is. Oh god.
Is it like in the west?
Southwest, yeah.
Oh, I saw I just see a street number, 319.
The street numbers honestly don't help me unless I have the map to scroll through them.
True, yeah.
Oh, and it looks
True.
like Brad, unless Marion gets another guess in. Yeah,
Ooh, and it's
No,
Southwest.
unfortunate. Oh, it was in the
getting
west. Okay.
close.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, Glogo is actually pretty big. I just saw I signed to it.
That's
All right,
actually
so an upset, and
surprisingly.
yeah, Brad takes it.
Yeah, less surprising about the obviously the upset is surprising, but I'm more surprised at how far away he was allowed to be to still win that game, because they were both like pretty far away.
Yeah, I wonder if Marion found something that made him go in the southeast, or it's just the south area. Maybe a thing saying Krakow or something.
Maybe, although I don't think we were in an area where there would have been signs to any bigger cities.
And it is Brad who takes the second spot from DJ after this run.
Yeah, Marion's still in the lead, but a bit of a shakeup. You got your shakeup, Lunacy. It's just second and third swapped. I hope you're happy with that. I'm not sure if you'll get more. But
Well, Marion is in the lead with 8 points, so there's not much gonna happen after this run.
Yeah,
The 3 players in the middle too are also still very, very close to each other, it looks like.
Yeah, possibly even for Kodiak, there's still a chance to get to second. Of course, with only 7 players, it's a bit more unlikely, and it would really take a very specific outcome for him to manage that, but it's still possible.
It would take Pisanigo returning for
An artificial somehow found his internet connection. But no, it's probably going to be Marion. Well, it's definitely going to be Marion winning, and then we're probably looking at either Brad, DJ, or Trichter in second place. And Kodiak might overtake 1 or 2 of them, but him overtaking all 3 of them is probably not gonna happen. As I think we should be ready to get into the last game for today.
Just 1 second. Starting now.
All right. Let's see if we can pinpoint this one. No, we cannot. We have anything interesting here?
Yeah, right off the bat, I have nothing.
Same here.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's I think it's Puerto Rico with the
Northern
Mariana.
Or no,
with the antenna.
one of the Pacific Islands, I think. Probably
Yeah,
not Puerto Rico.
my first thought was
Puerto Rico?
Guam or NMI. It just doesn't look
We got
very Puerto
bars?
Rican.
Oh yeah, it's just saw English. I just saw English. It is not Puerto Rico.
Yeah. Feels maybe a bit more like NMI, but
Blue street names signs with Talofofo Road and
I forgot
San
I can actually look.
Ignacio Drive.
Yeah. Take a look at NMI. Where would it be? I mean, if anything, it's going to be somewhere in the middle, right? Somewhere where there's a bit of mountainous areas.
It's not one of the big roads.
It was an
It is.
Here, right? Route 36. Yeah, I don't think there's even any side roads that are named here.
Yeah. The road names don't appear on the map.
Yeah, and even the ones that do are sometimes like incorrectly labeled, or like there's a mismatch in the label. Like
all right,
a road would be called like President Street or something, and then on the map it says Route 14.
Yeah.
Paul Petersburg, 30 kilometers. Either of you got an idea where that is? I mean, other than South Africa, obviously.
Petersburg. I think I know. I don't know.
I know Peter Maritzburg, but that's not the same for sure.
Yeah. I just didn't understand it correctly, but now that I see the sign myself, I don't know where it is.
It's very blurry. Where is it there? Lovesburg and Sungrini.
Ooh. A city starting with Z that didn't come up in the Civilization Alphabet Z?
Probably north somewhere, right?
Well,
Sort of.
it is pretty much tiny, so
There it is.
Wow, yeah,
makes
near
sense. We haven't
Eswatini, so
included it yet.
yeah, Trickster being the one to drop out there.
Yeah. It's a bit too far away, a bit too far to the west. Yeah, this is what I meant with New Zealand again. Is it even New Zealand? I think it is, isn't it?
Should be possum cards that aren't Tasmanian ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is New Zealand. Or yeah, I'm like 99% sure it is.
Mm-hmm. Somewhere in
and
New Zealand?
cows.
Yes.
Ooh, extraordinary cow moment.
You could probably make a whole map just out of cows in New Zealand.
There is. No, just not in New Zealand, but a worldwide one.
Mm-hmm. You could make one just for New Zealand. And it
Yeah.
would include all of New Zealand.
Well, yeah.
Kodiak's not.
I feel like there's
guessing
a pretty well oh, good guess from Kodiak. There's a
Yeah.
pretty like well circulated stat apparently that there are more sheep in New Zealand than people by a
Doesn't
lot.
surprise me. Oh, Kodiak. 5K.
Oh, almost a
Whoa,
5K.
that's
for Kodiak.
impressive.
That is amazing.
Yeah, that to me probably means either he recognized the area specifically or it's a repeat for him or something like that. But it's
or like when a direction found a sign for Galatea, which I looked kind of visible there.
Ghana is another one of those countries where I'm always like, we're somewhere in the country.
Yeah.
I practiced it for Map Battle League and was kind of good at it for a short amount of time, but now I've forgotten almost everything.
Yeah.
By the way,
I agree with you there, Calamity, in that like I've heard things people saying like, oh, it's redder in the north or it's redder in the west or something like that, or it's like more green where there's green on the map. And like none of that like tracks when I play.
Yeah.
But Kumasi, that's helpful.
Yeah, and we're in
I would
a city
Kumasi too.
close to Kumasi, just in the Kumasi general area.
Yeah.
Just wanted to quickly point out again that strategy Kodiak employed, which is something that you should generally do. Like if you know exactly where you are, wait until pretty late in the round to make your guess, because obviously it helps the others if they know roughly where they are. So just wait. Obviously, don't wait until like it's too late. But you know,
this time Marian with the 5K.
Yep, nice job from him. Is that build?
Is that an air traffic control tower? No, clearly not.
Shouldn't be.
Not
more like a factory control tower or something.
Yeah.
Or a prison, or even. No, I don't think it's a prison.
Saradon Cafe Restaurant. Yeah, it looks like a nice cafe, I guess.
I mean, if you confuse your cafe with a prison, or if it looks like a prison, it isn't a good cafe.
It does stand out from the others, though. It has a special thing going.
Oh, it's in we're in Tripolis, I think, in Greece.
Did it say that?
Yes,
I think so.
in Greek.
Yeah.
Tripolis.
I can't read Greek.
I kind of read it a bit. It's just like similar to my Cyrillic skills.
Yeah, I can
some
letters
letters I can read, some
same.
Some letters
the same.
It's actually I don't think so, because I can read Cyrillic without problems at all, but I can't make out Greek at all. Like if I can really slowly think about what the letters are, and like because I've done math for a long time, so I know a lot of these letters, but I just can't make them into like convert them, I want to say. Because things like
maybe it even hurts because when you see the symbol, you're like,
yeah, because like something like all of those Greek symbols have such long names. So to me, like if I see an alpha, then that's alpha. That's not A to me. So I'd have to really consciously think about it and make that transition.
Yeah, or like you see
that
the
makes
sign,
sense.
Like, it's triple the sigma.
Yeah. For me, it's always phi, because like phi starts with a P, but it's an F, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where are we? Talk about Geoguessr for a change.
I think it's Colombia or something like that.
Nope,
no,
Mexico.
Whoa.
But others made the same mistakes.
Only one getting Mexico. Well, like there's only 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kodiak getting a bit lucky
I was
there.
torn between them. between Colombia and Mexico.
And a
Yeah,
pretty
really
good
close.
guess too, and right in the right state, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's on to Kodiak and Marion. Kodiak could
Yes.
really pull ahead here.
Yeah. Interesting. Because apparently we're burning squirrels here. Don't know why.
All right, in what country do they burn squirrels?
Bulgaria, probably.
Mr. Blue, stop it.
It could be. I'm not sure about it, but that's signs say. Or more so, how did it look? I don't care what it says.
I think it's more likely to be Ukraine or something.
Yeah, okay, we have a red car.
Yeah.
Oh, do we?
So if
Oh, yeah,
one
we
of them
do.
can find Kruglich.
I thought of a joke now. I'm not going to say it. We're just outside of Kiev. And Marion
wow.
wins it ahead of Kodiak.
No surprise
Unbelievable.
there. The fourth game he wins today.
Very impressive.
Amazing.
Yeah. And it does look like Brad secured himself that second place. So it does take that from DJ, who comes third this week. So not too big of a change up. Kodiak ends up in fourth. Richter in fifth. Jake then in sixth. And Dennis in seventh. Ahead of he's an equal artificial, obviously, who did not play today.
Yeah, those results sort of just they seem like they match up with the first week.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah, there's
really
a
similar.
bit of movement. Few players swapping around, but generally you have the same players at the top, the same players in the middle and at the bottom. And that is actually not very surprising, but I feel like we had a bit more variety in season 2. But we'll see if
I would say so too, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see if that changes in the coming weeks. But I have my doubts about it because we had 2 very contrasting game modes so far in these 2 weeks. So considering it didn't change much here, I don't think it's going to change too much in the following weeks. But technically, we've only had 2 weeks, and the 2 worst performances will get removed. So technically, everyone's still at 0 points until they've played a third week.
True, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah. What do the totals look like at the? Or I guess like those need to be
not
calculated. I
updated
assume
yet.
Marion's at the top.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure, he is.
He is, and then DJ and Brad would be equal. Then let me see. Kodiak came third, Trichter fifth. So it should be Trichter in fourth, then Kodiak in fifth. Probably Dennis in sixth and Jake in seventh, then Pizonico in eighth and Artificial in ninth. And
yeah,
we'll see if those move around a bit more in the coming weeks. But even if the end result may not have been the most exciting, we had some interesting games themselves, some nice 5Ks as we hoped for in the distance game mode. And yeah, any last words from you guys?
Yeah, I'm excited to get next week started with MMP set single guest, the last of the 3 modes, so to say. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to say thanks for having me on, and I'm excited to follow the rest of the league now that I have more of a stake in it.
Yeah, no problem. All right, then. I hope everyone's enjoyed watching, and we'll see you guys again next week. Till then,
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.